Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight. Welcome to our Zoom presentation of Eleemosynary, a play in the 7 scenes by Lee Blessing. The characters tonight are Doroetha, a woman of some means, played by Phyllis M. Nofts; Artie, her daughter, played by Jami Bartlett; Echo, her granddaughter, played by Alexandra Moniz. So, scene 1. A girl of 16 appears. It is Echo.
Eleemosynary. 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 It's my favorite word. Not just because I won with it either. It was always my favorite. Eleemosynary. Of or pertaining to alms. Charitable. It's from the Latin, of course, but it's our word now. This is my grandmother. She had a stroke.
Could you open the drapes, dear?
She can't really talk. I can hear her, though. At least, I think I can.
Oh, that's nice. That's warm.
She's 75 years old. Well, I know she doesn't look it. That's not how I see her.
Oh, I feel 50 today.
I know.
Artie enters. On her arms, she wears a pair of large wings made of lightweight wood and fabric. Each is perhaps 2 or 3 feet long.
Hello.
My grandmother believed she could fly using only a pair of homemade wings and the proper classical training. In 1958, she made a 10-minute movie, fully professional, of herself and her daughter, my mother, trying it out.
Hello. I am Dorothea Westbrook. Today, I'm going to prove that man, or in this case, woman, can fly without the aid of any motor of any kind, using only the simple pair of wings you see my daughter Artemis wearing here. We have an excellent day for the attempt. A bright golden sky, crisp, brisk wind, and air temperatures in the 40s. We will try 2 experiments today. First, the very steep hill, and second, the wooden tower.
Sometimes I think all of my troubles began in 1958.
I wish I could be flying myself, but arthritis has made that impossible. Is the camera going? Splendid. Artie!
Mom?
Remember all I've taught you?
Spelling the words became easy, really. Almost a nuisance. N-U-I-S-A-N-C-E, nuisance. What I really concentrate on is the meaning of the word. No, more than that, the feel of the word.
The world is filled with an inner conviction, a cord of truth and power which needs only to be unsnarled and drawn taut between its center and our own.
Lots of words have a special feel. Words like prink and zanana. Words like dysphemism and autocathunksis. Spelling them is nothing in comparison to feeling them.
Flap! For God's sake, you call that flapping? You're being filmed.
Beautiful words for ugly things. Limicolous. L-I-M-I-C-O-L-O-U-S. Limicolous means dwelling in mud. Oh, or this one, esurient. It just means hungry, but the way that it feels. I used to stop right in the middle of spelling it. E-S-U-R-I. There are some words I would give my life for.
You're not concentrating.
I still have that film that my grandmother made.
It's not working.
Well, keep trying. Concentrate. Concentrate.
I am not flying.
You will.
Mom was only 15 then, and this wasn't the first strange thing that Grandma made her do.
Never have a daughter. Never have a child, for that matter, but never have a daughter. She won't like you.
Keep flapping.
My mom's a very intense person. I think it was her upbringing.
Artie, remember, inner conviction.
How are you coming on N, O, and P? Is this a good time to talk?
Fine. Mom, we don't have to do this if you want. You know, Grandma can always help.
No, no, no. I've got the time. Honest. And I've got my dictionary right here. So.
Okay.
Good. Periptery.
You know, we could just talk if you'd rather.
Come on. Periptery. Region of air surrounding a moving body.
Periptery. Periptery. Periptery.
Good. Nyctotropic.
What?
Nyctotropic.
That's a word?
Oh, sure. It's a word I hear in my work all the time.
What does it mean?
Tending to assume at nightfall positions unlike those during the day. Like the leaves of certain plants.
That's a scientific word. They don't ask those very much.
Oh, they don't. I'm sorry. How about?
No, I'll do it anyway.
Can you? Do you know it?
I can guess. Nyctotropic. Nyctitropic. Nyctotropic?
That's right. That's amazing. How do you do that? Now, let's see.
Mom?
What?
Let's just talk.
We are talking.
Why don't you come over here and help me?
Well, I'm very busy these days. You've got Dorothea, and...
I want you too.
You have me. You do. I'm right here on the phone. Let's do another word. How about, I don't know. Anything, really. How about, orbit?
Orbit? You mean like the planet?
That's right.
You think I can't spell orbit?
Just spell it, and we'll go on. All right?
Could you please just come over?
No. Orbit.
Mom.
Orbit, or I'm hanging up.
O-R-B-I-T. Orbit.
Thank you.
There's something about the Westbrook women. We have this expectation about ourselves to be extraordinary. It's a little like having a disease in the family.
Artie returns during the above speech with the wings again. She stands beside Dorothea.
Well, the very steep hill seems not to have done the trick. We're moving on. Therefore, to the wooden tower.
When I was still in my crib, my grandmother was constantly shoving words and numbers in front of me. The first thing I ever said was the ancient Greek word for grandma.
My granddaughter is a born genius.
Dorothea raised me from the time I was 2, and I could do calculus by the time I was 9.
I am not jumping off of that tower.
Of course you are, dear.
You said this would be safe.
It is safe. Look at the tower's base. We've piled up dry leaves.
Dry leaves.
There'll be a slight delay.
My grandmother made me love words. And my mom helped too, a little.
Are you my daughter or not?
When I was 12, I decided to be the greatest speller in history for life. I didn't realize only kids had spelling bees. I thought there was an adult division.
Artie moves into position on the tower.
My daughter is now, about 12 feet above the ground. And let go of the railing, dear.
No.
Don't be stubborn.
Dorothea was one of the notable eccentrics of her time.
You want to fly, don't you?
No.
I do.
Well, then you must go on. You must let go.
I fly with words. I know that sounds stupid to say, but it's true. Certain words literally lift me up to my own private altitude. Sortilege, Caravari, undulate, Flavonian. Oh, and a word that means playing with words. Logo-deedly. Isn't that a great one? Logo-deedly. It's a one-word yodel.
Why are you so afraid to make history?
No daughter of mine will ever. No daughter of mine.
Artie!
Echo
Mom?
is suddenly 13.
Mom? Mom, are you there?
Well, honey.
Could you come over?
Oh, I can't right now. What's wrong?
I'm the National Spelling Bee champion.
I know. You could be very proud of a year's work.
What'll I do next year?
What do you mean?
There's nothing left to spell. I spelled everything. I spelled Zeugma and Withershins and Grapple and Fogdod. I spelled Revenant and Aratexy. I even spelled Thysis. P-H-E-H-I-S-I-S. Thysis. Could you please come over?
Echo, no.
I even spelled Eleemosynary, just like it was cat or dog. I took a beautiful, amazing mechanism and I spelled it.
Artie?
Don't take a negative attitude.
Don't take a negative attitude.
Why not? I turned those words into something nugatory and oogsome.
Into what?
I made them serendipitous and marmoreal.
Damn it! Speak English!
I am. Those are good English words.
Some words are meant to be spelled, not used.
Well, I think spelling bees are the quiddity of hebitude.
Artie dons the wings and stands beside Dorothea.
Well, it appears we will not be able to complete our experiment today.
Damn right.
What a pity. Hopefully, perhaps tomorrow we can... But you came so close on the hill.
Never. You are nuts. And now you are nuts on Phil.
Mom apologized for that later. Grandma never mentioned it again. She went right on to other projects. Communication with the dead, spontaneous combustion, astral projection, but she never filmed those.
That's all right.
Sorry.
I forgive you.
I can feel my grandmother in me. My mother too, a little. Something flies straight through us, straight from Dorothea to me. It's a gift.
The secret of
fade
flight
slowly to
lies
black.
in the assurance that we are worthy of flying.
I guess it's a gift.
Lights fade slowly to black. Scene 2.
You don't have to smoke, but it makes you more forceful. Whoever's with you knows that while you do need oral gratification, you don't necessarily need it from them. I have trouble touching my daughter. I have trouble touching most people, but I don't worry about that. It's my daughter that worries me.
Echo becomes an infant in her crib.
Are we all waked up from our nap? Are we, little miss? We're all waked up and we're 3 months old and we're ready to go to school.
Dorothea could touch her all day long.
Do you like school? Do we? Of course we do. Listen, Artie. Oh, listen how much she likes the thought of school. She's laughing.
She's laughing because you're tickling her.
I'm sure that's part of it. Oh, do we know this letter? That's A. Can you say A? All right. How about this one? B. That's right. B. Can you say that?
Mom, she's 3 months old. She can't talk yet
Oh, how do you know?
because it's physiologically impossible.
That's just the truth of the body, not the truth of the spirit. How about this one? Echo, C.
Her name is not Echo.
Of course it is. I named her.
I named her months ago. I named her Barbara.
Well, that was before I got here. Echo, do you want to try these? This is Alpha. Can you say that? Oh, and this is Beta. Can you say?
Those baby alphabets she's playing with are the same ones that she hung over my crib. Pink for Latin, blue for Greek.
Lambda? Can you say lambda? Think of a little lamb.
Mom, she can't talk.
You certainly sound cross this morning. You should take a good long walk. That's what I do when I'm feeling needlessly aggressive. Go on. Maybe you'll meet someone important or famous. I always do.
Who do you meet that's famous?
Well, last week I met President James Monroe.
You did.
Yes, it was really very fortunate too. I've been meaning to ask President Monroe about the era of good feelings. That's what they called his presidency, you know, the era of good feelings. It was from 1817 to 1825. And I picture it as one of the happiest times, the era of good feelings. So I asked him, was it as good as all that?
What did he say?
He said it was fair. I think he was just being modest. Oh, he's a good-looking man. The last president to wear short pants. Did you know that? He looked a little funny in this neighborhood, but all in all, it was a very nice visit. So, have a walk, why don't you? Good for the postpartum nonsense.
Thank you.
Don't mention it.
I have trouble with my memory. I can't forget anything. My social security number, poems I learned 20 years ago, the ingredients in Raisin Bran, what I weighed when I was 12, what my mother said about what I weighed when I was 12, every word I've ever read, everything I've seen or heard or was a part of. It's all up here. Total recall. There are people who would consider it a gift, who would be grateful for it, I suppose. To me, it's like some sort of memorial with all the names of the dead etched in. I try not to read anymore. Don't want to make the memorial any bigger. My daughter, Echo, sometimes thinks I'm against education. I'm not against education. I'm just against remembering what you learn.
Cathexis. C-A-T-H-E-X-I-S. Cathexis.
Cathexis.
Plein air. P-L-E-I-N hyphen A-I-R. Plein air.
Plein air.
Deodand. D-E-O-D-A-N-D. Deodand.
Deodand. They aren't words. They're just fragments. Greek, Latin, Old French, Old German. They're parts of something we used to speak. They're sediment. They're...
Detrius? D-E-T-R-I-T-U-S. Detrius?
Echo, I have to hang up now.
Can't we do a few more?
I have to hang up.
Are you all right?
I'm fine.
Really?
Really.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. My mother made sure I had tutors from the age of 4. I remembered everything they ever said, of course, which excited them tremendously. Meanwhile, my father worried that too much learning would hurt my hopes for marriage. But Dorothea said, a smart girl can hide what she knows. So there's still a chance for happiness.
Well, that's true, in a way.
I'm telling this. When I was 18, I got pregnant.
It was an accident.
Mother. In 14 years of tutoring, no one, including my mother, ever brought up the facts of life. I knew the whole succession of the Medianite kings, but I knew nothing about the men who cut our lawn. Until I went out with one of them.
Artie is now 18.
You can't be pregnant. You can't. You're 18.
Mother, I am.
You're about to go to college.
I can't help that.
Of course you can. Your college career...
My college career. I'm going to be a mother.
No. No, you're not. You don't have to be.
Of course, I have to.
No, you don't. Think about it.
What, you mean give it up for adoption?
No. That would mean your father finding out, and if he knew about this, he'd have you married to someone in 5 minutes. And no college either. You have to do something else.
What? It's illegal.
In this state, but if you go to...
No.
Artie!
I won't do that.
Why not?
Because it's the life.
It's that life or yours.
How can you say that?
Think a minute. If you keep it, none of our plans, none of your potential. Do you see? You'll spend the next 20 years of your life trying to Catch up with yourself. You won't be you anymore. You'll just be something a child needs.
What's wrong with that?
You could be more, something else.
I don't want to be anything more.
You are. We can't help what God made us. If you hadn't been born the way you are, I could have waggled letters over your crib forever and nothing would have come of it. If you have a baby now, your father will think, fine. She's just a woman, like I said all along. I'll find her a husband. And he will, too. We won't be able to stop him. When a soldier in battle suddenly has to kill someone, we say that's all right. It's his life or someone else's. That's the choice, no matter how regrettable. You have a choice too, between living your life or someone else's. You only get to make that choice once, and you have to choose now.
I waited a little while, anyway. But finally we crossed the state line. I ran away after that, across 3 state lines. I lied about my age, and I got a job teaching at a private school. I think they were surprised at my interview. They asked me what I taught, and I said, "What have you got?" And they said, "Chemistry and ancient history." And I said, I could do both. And I did. I taught kids who were my age, and they called me Miss. I spent my free time being delighted not to be around my mother and wondering how she was.
I was fine, that's how I was. I was speaking daily with Mr. Norman Sweet of the Sweet Detective Agency, and he was making excellent progress.
One afternoon, I came home from teaching, and my mother was sitting in my room.
Small, isn't it?
No, it's large.
I like the view. You can see a steel plant.
It's nice out the other window.
Where would you like to eat this afternoon? Where do you normally eat? Remember the meals we had back home? Now, those were really...
Those are over with. We already ate those meals.
Oh, guess what I'm working on now? I just started it. Go on, guess.
Mom?
A way to see through the earth. You can, you know. It has something to do with mind-bending light. There's nothing the mind can't bend. What's it like to teach here? Challenging?
It's a nice school.
A minnow is a nice fish.
You know what? You don't have to like it, okay? I don't care if you don't like it.
It doesn't matter whether I like it or not. You're coming home. Oh, guess what I bought the other day? Oh, guess. It's for you.
Well,
This book.
I can see. It's a book.
It's in Latin. An 1857 edition of Ovid's Metamorphoses. Published in Rome. It's in very good shape.
It's beautiful.
Well, it was expensive enough. Don't thank me. You have the right to an intellectual life. Huh. I wonder if these girls were glad that they had an intellectual life. After they'd been transformed into trees and reeds and whatever, what happened? There's something so stationary about a tree. Oh well, too late for them.
I ran away again. On the way home, I crawled out the window of Matt's Hygienic Cafe with the book. This time I was very far away, and I stayed hidden for a long time.
All lights fade to black. Scene 3. Lights slowly rise on Echo and Dorothea. Echo methodically raises and lowers Dorothea's outstretched arm. Therapy for the stroke victim.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Da, 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 da.
People wonder about me. I realize that. Well, they don't say anything, of course, because of the money. My husband was very comfortable. He owned most of the state. By the time he died, he always treated me civilly. He didn't really know what to make of me except a wife. Not long after Artie ran away the second time, he died. Cerebral hemorrhage, very sudden. I'm told he didn't feel it much. I know I didn't. That worried me for a time, not feeling anything about the death of my husband. But then I asked a few of my women friends whose husbands had died, and they said the same thing. So I decided it was common enough and I shouldn't worry.
Euphrasy. E-U-P-H-R-A-S-Y. Euphrasy. A plant, also known as eyebright.
Begins to raise and lower Dorothea's other arm.
Bijouterie. B-I-J-O-U-T-E-R-I-E. Bijouterie. A jewel collection. Words are my collection. They're like jewels no one takes out of the case. Rataplan.
Rataplan.
R-A-T-A-P-L-A-N. Rataplan. The sound or beating of a drum. My grandmother loved helping me with words.
Oh, you spell them wonderfully.
I've lived with my grandmother almost all my life. She raised me.
She kneels in front of Dorothea, exercises the arms in crossing patterns.
Life is a swift ascent, followed by an endless, dreamy, downward nutation.
That means a nodding off.
One can only hope that one has risen high enough so that the sights on the way down will be worth the looking.
This is what I imagine she thinks.
I found out how to talk to stones.
You have, haven't you?
Oh, isn't she?
Artie enters and lies down, eyes closed. Dorothea watches as she does so.
Isn't she pretty? Oh, I'm not blind to good looks, you know. Beauty and intelligence. I thought I was a very lucky mother. Oh, look, she's dreaming. I'm in her dream. Do you want to know what I'm like in her dream? Oh, she can't help it. It's not her fault. And it's not mine. And it wasn't my mother's fault either, I suppose. We all try to be just right, just what the next one needs, and we never come close. I was an only child. After me, my mother couldn't have any more. As for my father, well, the only sentence of genuine interest he ever uttered about me was, "Is it a boy?" So I became my mother's daughter by default. It gave me such a feeling of worthlessness. It was like an asthma of the soul. I could never take a deep breath of who I was.
For years, I had the same dream.
Mother didn't know what to say, and father only glowered.
I dreamed my mother found out where I moved.
Girls really weren't worth much then.
I dreamed I'd find her in my room, like the first time.
Mother told me not to think about it.
I dreamed she burned my books. that somehow there was this little self-contained fire.
But thinking was the only thing I felt confident doing.
Burn the pillows and the chairs, just toss them in.
I read every book I could find.
Curtains, my papers, my books.
I read for escape.
Stop throwing things. Stop it. They're mine.
I felt guilty, and those days a girl did.
And she told me to get in the fire.
But I couldn't help myself. I felt like an addict.
No, get out. This is my room. Get out.
Can you imagine it? Feeling guilty for learning?
And then she would just disappear. Just disappear. And the room would be like it was, and I'd be alone again. Only I'd be awake.
The day I graduated high school, my father smiled at me, and he said he had a wonderful surprise, which turned out to be an arranged marriage between me and John Westbrook. John was, I admit, a sort of boyfriend, and I had thought of marrying him, perhaps, in 4 years. But what I thought didn't concern my father. I said, "What about college?" And he said, "John's going directly into his father's business." No. What about college for me, I said. My father just laughed. He laughed at the idea that I might prefer college to marriage. Laughed and laughed.
I think you can get stuck on pleasure, don't you? You can get so involved with something that you like that you don't move on to the next thing, something you might like even more.
My father, and John too, made vague promises I could go to college sometime if I'd only get married now. On June 2nd, I graduated high school. 3 weeks later, I was married. 2 weeks later, I was pregnant. John and I had 3 boys and a baby girl. I liked the girl.
For example, I love my grandmother, but since her stroke...
After our 3rd son was born, I asked John if I could go to college. He said no. I reminded him of his vague promise, and he said that's what vague promises were for.
Now there's only Mom, and face-to-face with Mom, it's harder.
Then I met a very strange person.
So, I come here and I talk to Doroetha, even though she can't hear me.
A very strange person indeed.
I move her arms, I do words, and I pretend that she's still here.
He was a guest at a summer party. This was in the 40s. Normally our guests were financial types, but he was the friend of a friend, and he was a spiritualist. I'd always thought such people were weird, funeral sorts. But this was the happiest man I had ever met. He talked to me for a long time about his investigations into the supernatural. He didn't make these eccentric journeys for any dark, compelling reason. He simply enjoyed the possibility of an entirely different world within our reach. I asked if that didn't seem like escapism. He said he couldn't think of a better world to escape from. Look around you, he said. Don't you just itch to escape? But what would my husband think, I wondered? And this man, as though he had been reading my thoughts, said, the best thing about it is no one holds an eccentric responsible. And suddenly, a great breath of happiness went down into my lungs. And suddenly, I realized eccentricity. I thought, what a relief! And from that day on, I never felt the need to listen to a thing my husband said, or anyone else.
My mother chose to be an eccentric, like choosing to be a Lutheran, she said.
Oh, eccentricity solved so many problems. I could stay a wife and mother and still converse with the souls of animals.
My grandmother's girlhood diary is amazing. She knew everything. She loved so many people. And then when she married, it stopped. Like she had died or something.
Eccentricity saved my life. It became my life. I thank God for it, for all the good and the harm that it has caused.
The action carries directly into scene 4. Dorothea on the platform, Echo just above her, and Artie standing.
I can't hear you.
Maybe she can.
I don't think so.
She talks sometimes.
He does not.
Kind of talking.
She grunts like an animal. I don't know why you keep coming here.
She's my grandmother.
Does she recognize you? She doesn't recognize me. So then, whose grandmother is she? Whose mother is she? I ask myself. If you can't remember who you're related to,
She's yours and she's mine, so just stop talking.
if there was a God, he'd kill us outright.
There is. So shut up. You know, you didn't have to come here.
I wanted to see what you two did together.
We just sit here. I open the drapes and I close the drapes.
Nurses will hear you.
The nurses hear me all the time.
You yell a lot in here.
I used to. You know, you tend to quiet down in this place after a while.
It is a very good hospital. They do a better job than we could, to be frank. Why do you keep coming here?
To see my mother.
Be home in time for dinner.
I will. My mother left me when I was little. For a long time, I wasn't sure if she had left or just suddenly gotten a lot older. Or I wondered if there was ever my mother at all. Maybe it had always just been my grandmother and I was just confused. I really thought that. I used to ask Dorothea where my mother was. She'd always say,
She just stepped out.
She what?
She just stepped out.
Well, when's she gonna step back in? Grandma? Grandma? Later, when I was old enough, Grandma told me that Mom had gone into research, whatever that is.
Research is a place where you can study for the rest of your life.
Once Mom called me on the phone.
Echo is now 7 years old.
Hello?
Oh, hello. Is Dorothea there?
Who's this?
Let me talk with your mother.
No,
Who called, dear?
nobody.
I heard a phone ring.
It was nobody. It was a dead person.
A dead person?
Nearly dead.
Why don't you come and sit next to me, huh? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. There. That's nice, isn't it?
No.
Yes, it is. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you know why I named you Echo?
So kids would laugh at me.
No. so you could give back to others what you find beautiful about them, so you could reflect what's lovely in others.
Then you should have named me Mirror.
Not just living people, people from the past, people we only know from what they wrote or said. I want you to hear what people say, to sort out what's helpful and forgiving, and return that to them. Do you understand?
No.
We're all talking all the time, saying our thoughts, writing them down, sending them out like messages in a bottle. And we're never sure which messages have been found and which haven't. If you could reassure some people.
Like my mother?
Not only her.
But mostly.
Me too.
You? Why you?
Everyone needs...
No, why you? I love you.
Oh, of course you do. But
what?
We all need forgiveness.
When I ran away the second time, I kept moving. I lived in 8 different cities. I used 4 different names. Once, after about 3 years, I called. Mom?
Yes?
It's me.
I know.
I'm all right. Are you still looking for me?
No.
And I hung up. I moved again the next day, just in case. But I knew she was telling the truth. I went back to school on my own, paid my own way, selling suitcases, which I thought was kind of ironic. We had this one suitcase I used to hit with a hammer just to show how durable and rugged it was. I used to hit the crap out of that suitcase, but it never broke. The hammer broke. After a few more years, I called again. Mom?
Yes.
I'm still all right.
That's nice, dear.
I'm gonna have a baby.
Is this your way of telling me you're married?
Yes. His name is Richard. He is a professor of biochemistry. I'm assisting him.
I should say you are. How long have you been married?
A few months. I finished grad school.
You have? Oh, that's wonderful. What in?
Biochem.
Now, that's lovely. Would you do research then?
Yes.
Interesting research, I hope.
Oh. Yes. Of course.
When's the baby due?
6 months.
I'll come and stay with you. Where do you live now?
You don't have to do that.
No, I want to.
I know, but...
What state do you live in? Just tell me that.
I don't think...
You'll need your mother if you're going to have a baby. What state?
California.
Oh, out there, huh? Oh, well, I'll have to make some arrangements, but
Don't come. I don't want you to.
Nonsense. I'll be there in a week.
Mom.
What?
Don't you want to know what city I'm in?
No, I like the challenge.
A week later, there she was.
Hi.
She bought a house on my street. She came over every night. My husband actually liked her.
Richard had taste.
He had more than that. When I was with my husband, I had no memory at all of where I came from, what I'd been like, or what I was afraid of. We worked together. We lived together. We loved each other so much. Every day was independent of every other day. Each day was experienced and then put away, simply put away, as though it had been a whole life in itself. And every night was a quiet, lovely step from one life into another. When my mother arrived, my memory came back. Forever.
I like my new neighborhood. Oh, I saw King Solomon on the street yesterday, but he couldn't stop.
Richard couldn't understand why I couldn't function with her around. I couldn't, though. She'd come over with some theory about making toads fly.
Don't get upset, dear. I'll be down the street when you need me.
When I had my baby, she took me to the hospital. My husband was at work.
A girl!
Mom.
Oh, now this one will fly. She'll fly. I can feel it.
Exactly 1 month after Echo was born, my husband died in a car accident, as Dorothea put it.
One death, one life. The world is always working like that.
My father died. Mom didn't talk for days. That's what Grandma said anyway. Not even asked for food or anything. I think she really loved him.
But
Dorothea put it.
I always say the dead are the dead and the living are the living.
That's not what you always say.
That's what I say at the moment. Now, how are we going to raise this child?
We?
You can't do it alone. You have a career to think of. You're aggrieved.
I know. I'm aggrieved.
Did you see? I'll get my things and move in. We have work to do.
Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. If that mockingbird don't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring. Grandma always used to sing lullabies to me. She sang them to my mother too. I never heard my mother sing a word.
Scene 5. Lights grow brighter as Echo puts on the wings.
You like them? I do. Grandma never threw anything away, even things that she was sorry for. I wish they had worked. I wish Artie had flown. It's hard for Grandma dedicating her life to theories that are difficult to prove. When I was a year old, the 3 of us moved back east, back into Grandma's house. We didn't fly, we drove all the way across the country. I don't really remember it.
Do? I wanted Echo to see a few things. We made all sorts of educational stops. A secret Indian burial ground, a convention of faith healers in Laramie, Wyoming, Edgar Casey's birthplace, Edgar Casey's grave, Edgar Casey's wife's grave.
Cult in Louisiana, a landing strip for UFOs, and the home of a man who'd been to the moon and back in 1953. Our trip across the country took 5 weeks.
Echo saw things it took me years to see.
Echo saw things that weren't there.
Must have been a nice trip. When we got back to Grandma's house, they put me in Mom's old room, although I wasn't aware of that at the time.
Echo becomes 2 years old and starts playing with the wings.
She's bright, isn't she?
You call chewing on a wing bright.
She already speaks Greek. A little.
She doesn't know what she's saying.
Yes, she does. Other people don't, but she does. Do you like your work these days?
Yes.
I know it's only teaching, but you'll get back to research someday. At least the college is closed. That's the best thing about the East. There's always a college right down the street.
I have a job offer.
Oh, in research?
Yes. Echo, stop chewing on those.
Echo throws the wing down.
Yes, I do.
Where is it?
Europe.
Oh? For how long?
No limit.
Permanently?
If I want. Isn't that good news?
Well, are you planning to take Echo with you? She'll grow up speaking a foreign language.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, moo.
The Greek word for grandma. It's all right, honey, I'm here. She likes me. She's used to having me around. Almost more than you, I sometimes think.
What does that mean?
Oh, nothing. Nothing. I'm just observing. Echo.
Echo.
Yeah, moo.
I was just observing. Are you sure you have to take this position?
It's the logical next step.
I'll come visit then. What country's it in?
I don't want you to come visit.
I have to come visit. I have to see Echo for one.
You can see her here every day. I want you to keep her.
Keep her? For how long?
For good. Echo.
Yeah, moo.
I want you to keep her for good.
Dorothea and I never talked about Artie much. Sometimes she'd bring out old photographs, though, and then we'd have to talk about her.
Echo, pictures. Oh, I found a whole new album in the attic. It's got your mom in it.
Okay.
Oh, this is Artie and I when we had those sessions with Mrs. LaRue. Oh, here's a picture of Artie hypnotized.
Hypnotized.
Oh, yes. We used to get hypnotized quite regularly. We'd leave our bodies sometimes. At least I would. It would be fun to do that with you, but I promised your mother we wouldn't.
Why not?
Oh, here's a shot I like. It's Artie and I on a trip. I took her to one of those vortexes. You know, those houses where the balls roll up instead of down?
No.
Oh, well, they have them. And we went to see one, and the little ball rolled uphill just like it was supposed to. I personally found a lot of strength in that. Artie didn't like it at all. Your mother never found much pleasure in seeing the rules of the world broken. I knew they weren't being broken. There were just more rules than she thought there were.
Well, how many rules are there?
In the whole world?
Yeah.
How many do you want? Because that's how many there'll be.
I still remember. I still remember everything. But in particular, I still remember being waked up by my mother in the middle of the night when I was 7. We sneaked out of the house late at night, and it was just the two of us, and it was late spring, and the air was warm. And my mother looked so excited when she pulled out
a pair of scissors.
And she cut off a piece of my hair.
No. A lock of your hair.
A lock of my hair. And she said, I can take this lock of hair, cut in silence and secret under the full moon, and I will save it as long as you are my daughter, whether we love each other or not, whether you remember
me
or forget, whether I
help you or harm you, I will always have it till the day I die.
And then we went home, and we went back to bed. I asked her later where she kept my hair, but she wouldn't tell me.
It's a secret, even from you.
I just wanted to know. But no matter how many times I asked, she wouldn't tell me where it was.
It's a terrible desire to want to know everything.
So one day when she was gone, I looked for 5 hours. I opened every drawer. I looked under every piece of furniture, in every pillow, under every rug, all through her jewelry collection, in the bathroom cabinets, above the bathroom cabinets. I checked the bottoms of drawers, the backs of drawers, the backs of furniture, behind the mirrors, pictures.
It's a terrible desire to want to know everything.
Took the sheets off the bed. I looked under the mattress. I looked through books, through all the magazines. I felt in all of her shoes. I looked behind the toilet. I looked on top of the door frame.
It's a terrible desire.
It wasn't anywhere. It wasn't anywhere in the whole goddamn house. When my mother got home, she found me sitting in a huge pile of her things in the middle of the floor. She didn't have to ask what I was doing. She knew. She went immediately to the dresser drawer. She got a screwdriver. She went over the light switch, unscrewed the safety plate, fished in and got my hair and gave it back to me.
Here. You may keep it yourself. I don't want it anymore.
I was 7 years old. I called up my mother once from Europe when Echo was 7. They knew, but I had some news.
Really? What is it?
I'm coming back. I have a job offer to teach in the States, close to you.
How close?
50 miles.
Well, that is close. Are you going to take it?
Yes.
When? Well, you know, you're always welcome to visit.
Visit.
Well, call then. You can call us anytime.
All right.
Do you want Echo back or anything like that?
No. My new job was a good one. It had a direct link up with clinical research. We saved lives. Once I got settled in, I started to call my mother and Echo now and then. I'd ask Echo about school.
Probability theory is interesting. I'll be able to do more with it when I'm 9.
And I'd ask Doroetha about her life.
Last night, I was assumed bodily into heaven.
Things went on this way for years, actually. And in that whole time, I never saw Echo.
No. Once you did.
Well, once. By accident. I was at a book fair. I didn't go to buy books, really. I just went to hold them. I was running my hand over the spine of an 18th century early edition, wishing I could smell the book more than read it. And I saw her. She was a long way away. but I knew it was her. Dorothy had sent me pictures, but pictures don't move. She was beautiful. Just then, she saw me. I immediately dropped the book and ran. I ran and ran all the way to my car. I don't even remember driving home.
I bought the book. It was Robinson Crusoe. The life and strange, surprising adventures. I read it 17 times.
I think a woman has a right to be irrational about her children. Once she has them, she has them. They're hers. She thinks so. Her husband thinks so. Everyone else thinks so. They came out of her body. They are her body. And anytime they want love, they can demand it. As long as she can open an eye, she'll see them. As long as she can hear a sound, it'll be them forever. From the moment they're born. The same is true for the one I didn't have. Only that one comes to me in my sleep and asks for her love then. Echo calls me a bad mother. But if she could see me at night, how good I am then. How much care I take.
Lights crossfade to Dorothea, who lies on the platform.
It really is an amazing thing, old age. Look at my skin. It's like the last layer of tissue paper before you open a gift.
Lights down on Dorothea. Scene 6. Lights up on Echo.
Not long after that, Mom suggested spelling bees. It was probably her way to apologize for running away from me that time. Got pretty important, though. She ended up calling me a lot more.
I'll find one, just a minute. Metamorphosis. You know that one. Huh. Okay. How about solipsis? You know that? Well, no. All right. Hieronymus. Good. That's right. Now, let's, oh, damn. What? No, I dropped the damn book. That's all. I'm trying to get dinner ready and, no. Don't call back. Really, don't. Stay on. I'm fine.
I think she liked helping me. She spent a long time on it.
What do you mean that's not a hard one? Opogonen, that's a hard one. Spell it.
Opogonen. O-P-P-U-G-N. Opogonen.
Fine.
It was strange to suddenly talk to her so much.
How was school today?
Fine. They want me to take some college courses.
You're only 13.
Gotta start sometime. How's work?
Fine. We're seeing some nice results with that new anticoagulant drug.
Wait, you're seeing?
We hear back. Oh, damn.
What?
Drop the P's.
You know, I should maybe call back.
No, they're frozen. Stay on the line.
Well, what are you working on now?
The potatoes.
No, at work.
Oh, something with carrot extract.
Oh.
Pretty positive. Do you want another word?
Once, right in the middle of conversation, I asked her why she left me. No warning. I just asked her. And all she could say was,
"You want another word?"
I decided I was going to get Mom to the National Spelling Bee finals. She had said about 1,000,000 times that she wasn't going, but I didn't care. I knew I was going to be there because nobody could beat me. And I knew Dorothea was coming. And I wanted them both in the audience when I won it. I didn't care if they were on opposite sides of the room when I won it. I just wanted them both to see that I was the very best in the whole country. That no matter what they'd done, no matter how they had done it, that they had produced, in the end, someone who was completely, well, all right. Someone with perspective. P-E-R-S-P-E-C-T-I-V-E. Perspective.
I don't think I really can, honey.
Why not?
Things at the lab.
Screw the lab.
Watch your language.
Well, put little covers on your petri dishes and come.
I mean, I don't think I can.
You don't want to.
It's not that.
Well, then what is it?
Honey?
Mom, if you aren't there, and if you don't come up and congratulate me after I win, and say hello to Grandma, and kiss her, well, you can forget about ever calling me again. And I hung up. She came.
They held it in a big room with lots and lots of lights and cameras and reporters. Reporters from all over, each one following the child from their own region. Oh, lots of children too, all of whom looked so nervous. All except Echo.
Echo looked wonderful.
She had no trouble at all in the early going, spelling words that were, I take it, English.
All the kids were good, but only Echo had no fear at all. I couldn't see my mother. I knew she was somewhere in the room, but...
Glunch. G-L-U-N-C-H. Glunch. I knew I was right. Glunch is such an easy word. It's spelled exactly like it sounds. But you always have that little teensy moment of doubt that maybe you thought the right letter, but you said that. Wait, what is he getting? What was his word?
At last, it came down to only Echo and a little boy.
Donzel! That's so easy. Why didn't I get that word? I mean, I know what it means. Donzel, unknighted gentleman.
The boy looked very nervous.
I should have had Donzel. It is just not fair. He guessed. He guessed, and he got it. That dumb little shit. He didn't even know it, and he guessed. Oh, I could kill him. Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm ready. Palinode? Palinode. Great. I love that word. That is the easiest word there is. Thank God. Thank God. I deserve it. I've had way too many hard words, and he has guessed on far too many. Palinode, a poem in which a poet takes something back that he said in another poem. Palinode. P-A-L-I-N-O-D-E. Palinode. This can't go on forever, buddy. I am gonna crack you like an egg.
Echo was a little different than I thought she would be. I mean, she was terrific and everything, but she seemed so desperate.
She was frightening is what she was. More frightening than anyone I can remember. Oh, Hitler and Mussolini were worse, certainly, but from them you expected it.
Well, what was his word? What was his word? I bet I know his word. What is it? Ovoviparousness? I know that. I know that. It is the quality of being ovoviparous. Why did he get that?
I knew Artie might come. I wondered what she'd think.
He's guessing. I know he's. Dear God, please let me win. Please. I just want 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. When all the lights are on me and all the pictures are being taken of me, and for 5 minutes, I am the most famous child in America, and Mom and Dorothea see it. After that, you can wash me back into the ocean with everybody else. I really don't care. I'll be one of the rabble, the hoi polloi, the clam gem fry. What? Excuse me. Could you please repeat that word? Clam jam fry? I don't believe it. She asked the exact word I was thinking of. Clam jam fry. CLAMJAMFRY. Clam jam fry. I know everything in the world.
I didn't know why she was behaving that way. So competitive. I mean, that's good to be, but not too much.
Don Yule. Look at him. He's so proud that he knew a word. Zonule. Everybody knows that word.
I remembered when Artie had first suggested the spelling bee. I didn't like the idea. Why do that, I said. If you already know the word, why beat someone to death with the fact? I mean, is that what I raised her for?
Come on. Miss it. You don't know it. You know you don't know it. I know how to spell it. I know what that means. I know its derivation. I know its earliest use in literature. I know its... He missed it.
Oh, when the boy missed the word, his little head collapsed. It just collapsed down on his chest, as though it were on hinges. Echo didn't notice. She was looking at the woman who gave the words, and Echo's eyes were as wide as an owl's. Not the wise old owl, not that at all, but more like the real one, the one that hunts.
Eleemosynary. ELEEMOSYNARY.
I could only watch the little boy. He just stood there. Cameras were going off, people were cheering and shaking Echo's hand, but the little boy, he never moved. And his head, it stayed on his chest. His neck, figuratively at least, was broken.
I slowly made my way toward the front of the room. Echo was being mobbed, but all I could look at was the boy she'd beaten. He looked like a dead mouse.
The kid's mom made me congratulate him. He seemed almost like an old person. I don't think he'd ever thought that he could lose. Now he was looking at 60 more years in his life that he didn't get to know what to do with. Mom and Grandma got to the stage at the same time. But by then, I'd been shoved over to the side for an interview, so I couldn't even hear what they said.
Hello. Congratulations.
For what?
For Echo. For her doing so well.
Doing what?
Spelling.
Oh, I see. Artie, I must tell you, I grew very tired of the spelling bee, so I transformed it into a ballroom dance.
A what?
A ballroom dance in my mind. I'm using telemutation. Right now, you're dancing with an admiral.
Mother?
As soon as things settle down, I'll change it back again and we'll go home.
Mother, I have to do something.
What?
I have to kiss you.
What?
I have to kiss you so Echo can see. Hi, Echo.
Hi.
It'll look odd. Two women kissing at a ballroom dance?
Congratulations, honey. I'll call soon.
Mom, wait.
I'll call.
Grandma, make her stay. Mom,
Bye.
Mom.
He is gone.
She left with the Admiral.
Lights fade to black. Scene 7.
Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mocking. Eleemosynary. That's the one that I won with. Means charitable. I used it like a weapon, though. I thought that having both of them there would be a good thing, but it wasn't. It made me realize that I was just like them. No better. I wasn't any end product. I wasn't any less cruel. I was just a very intelligent, vicious person. I called Mom a few times after the spelling bee. She was always civil, but it was different. So I stopped calling after a while. For 2 years, we hardly talked at all. Then, one morning, Dorothea had a stroke. So Mom came home.
Echo begins entering the roar as Artie moves toward her.
Your room.
This is your room? At least it used to be.
What about the other rooms? There's Dorothea's room.
No, no one sleeps in there. That's her room. She might come back.
She won't come back.
She might. Don't you believe in miracles?
Do you?
No one sleeps in there.
All right. But why do you want me in this room?
I can't be in this anymore. There's too many good memories of Grandma and me. I never want to come in here again. I want to freeze it in my mind just the way that it was.
And that's why you want me in it. So you never have to come into the room that I am in.
I'll be right down the hall.
I don't expect you to like me. I'm gonna stay.
You don't know what you're gonna do.
I exercised every day of my life right up until the stroke. That was all right, though. I'd lived a good while already, and I was planning to do a lot of research once I was dead. Life was interesting from what I saw of it. I once asked Artie what she thought life was. You know what she said? A long apology. Can you imagine? I said, no, Artie, not your life. Life in general. She hung up. Of course. Poor Artie could never answer me back, or anyone else for that matter. I thought Echo would be the one to preoccupy my thoughts in the last year or two of life. But it wasn't her. It was Artie. Imagine. It was Artie.
We were both asleep in chairs when she died. The nurse came in and found us like that. Must have looked like a mass suicide. She woke up Artie first and told her.
Thank you.
The next day, Mom and I had our first real fight.
It started over the wings.
She wanted to burn them.
I didn't think that was so unreasonable.
And then I found out, she had been burning things all morning. Anything that was evidence of Dorothea's eccentricity, like she had been a witch or something.
I am not saying that she's a witch.
And what are you saying?
Will you just give me the wings?
I can't believe that you burned all of those things. You even burned her books.
For God's sake, they were books on levitation.
They were hers.
They aren't anymore.
Takes the wings from Echo.
I just don't want her to be ridiculed, laughed at. That's all, her memory. People will be coming, relatives, for the funeral.
Just put the things away then. They won't be looking all throughout the house.
Of course they will. It's her estate. They'll inherit things too. My brothers are all coming.
When?
Tomorrow. Some of them. They're looking forward to seeing you.
I don't even remember them.
They remember you.
Well, we could put Grandma's things in the garage. We could just put them under something.
Your Uncle Bill is bringing his whole family, his wife and 2 girls.
What if we did that? What if we just put the things in the garage?
The girls are just a little older than you.
What are we going to do about Grandma's things?
I don't care. I think you'll like your Uncle Bill. He was always my favorite brother. They have a very nice family. They'd like you to come live with them.
What?
They say they'd be very pleased if you went to live with them.
Whose idea was that?
Mine. They're a very normal family.
I don't want a normal family.
I'd be bad for you, okay? I've always been bad for you.
You have not.
You could try it for just a while.
No! You said you were staying.
I was wrong. I thought that I could, but I can't.
But what's wrong with me?
Nothing.
Then why do you keep leaving me?
Echo.
Why?
I used to teach you the wrong things. Did you know that?
What do you mean? When?
When you were little. When Dorothea was with you every day, waggling those goddamn letters and cooing, you loved it, of course, you with your superhuman attention span. The 2 of you got along great. So I taught you the wrong things.
Wrong things?
I taught you the wrong names for things. When you were starting to talk, I'd point at the floor and say, ceiling. Or I'd point at the door and say, window. And you'd smile and say, ceiling and window. And I began to hope if I could just retard you a little.
Retard me.
Just a little. Just to be normal. I thought if you didn't seem so bright, she might get disinterested and leave us alone. But she didn't. She noticed that you were mixed up on a few things, and so she sneaked around until she heard me calling your hands your feet, and then she accused me of intellectual child abuse, which sounds ridiculous. But it was true. I actually was angry at you for picking her, for wanting her more.
I wanted you both.
You couldn't have both. You got her. She was better for you than I could have been.
Do you really believe that? Do you?
Yes.
How long do you want me to live with Uncle Bill and the girls?
Echo picks up the wings.
I'm taking these. I'm taking and taking everything of Grandma's that I am taking everything.
All right.
Did you love me when you left me with her?
Echo.
Did you?
Whether I loved you then or now.
Did you love me? Do you?
Yes. And no. It is always yes and no.
My cousins' names were Whitney and Beth. I sat between them in the car the whole way home. It was obvious that they had been told to be nice to me. They asked about my clothes. They said they loved them. They wanted to know where I got them. I said I didn't know. Then it was just quiet for a while. Then Beth asked, "Where did you buy those wings?" But Uncle Bill broke right in and said, "Your mother is very well thought of in her field. You should be proud of her." Then it was quiet for about 500 miles. And then Whitney said, "If you want, you can wear my clothes." And then we were home.
I moved out of my old room and into Dorothea's room. The next day, I moved from Dorothea's room to a guest room. A couple days later, I moved from the guest room to the sleeping porch. That was a little better. I planned to go back home after a week or two of tying things up. But the day before I left, I turned around and...
Hello.
Hello. What are you doing here?
All my stuff is in the hall. Where do you want me to put it?
Where is Uncle Bill?
I left them.
Why?
I don't know. We were all at Whitney and Beth's lacrosse game, and I just left.
I'll go call them.
Tell them I'm staying here.
You're not staying here. You are not.
You said you loved me.
I said yes and no.
But that means that sometimes you love me. Sometimes you do, don't you?
Echo.
Sometimes you do. And that means if I work on it enough, I can get you to love me more of the time, or most of the time.
I'm gonna go call your Uncle Bill.
Uncle Bill hardly remembers you. You know that? I asked him what you were like as a little girl. He couldn't even say. He remembers Grandma even less. He didn't have one interesting story about her, about Grandma. They didn't have a single picture of her either, not even in their minds. To them, she's just this woman who lived this big, embarrassing life. They all think that they have saved me just in time. Not just from Grandma, but from you.
They never said that.
They don't have to. So, I started wondering if they weren't right. Maybe the smartest thing would be just to forget about you completely. And Grandma. After all, what did I ever get from the two of you except a good education? You especially. What were you ever to me except a voice on the phone every now and then? And I looked around that new room where I was staying. It was real nice and blank. The way a thing is before you put any time into it. I thought, I could live a whole new life here. I could invent a whole new me, and I can be Barbara if I want to. Not Echo. I could finally fit in. I don't mean I'd be like Whitney and Beth. I mean, I'm not that crazy. But I could become like Robinson Crusoe and adapt myself to a strange and harsh environment. I could live in kind of a desert. I could even flourish like you have. I could live without the one thing that I wanted. But I kept hearing your voice. That voice on the phone, hiding behind the spelling words, making excuses, or just so energetic sometimes, so wishing. I don't even remember what you said. It's just the sound of it. Just a sound that says, I love you, and I've failed you. I hate that sound, and I will never settle for it, because no one failed me. No one failed me, not Grandma, and not you. I am a prize among women. I am your daughter, and that's what I choose to be. Someone who loves you. Someone who can make you love me. Nearly all the time, I am going to stay with you. I am going to prepare you for me. I'm going to cultivate you, and I'm going to tend you.
Do you think that I'm a garden?
Yes. And you need work.
It's fascinating being dead. Really. I find it's all in how you approach a thing. Take me. I've just begun a project searching for life after eternity. So far, it's going very well.
We kept the wings. We even kept the movie. Echo makes me watch it now and then. She tries to point out what's positive in it. I must admit, she tries very hard. She made me promise not to leave her. I'm one person who can't forget a promise.
I love to watch that movie. To see them both together, speaking and moving.
Today, I'm going to prove that man, or in this case, woman, can fly without the aid of any motor of any kind.
She was right, too. I've almost got Mom believing it. You know what I sometimes think about Westbrook women? That no matter what we've done, no matter how we've done it, we're all three of us in our own way completely eleemosynary. ELEEMOSYNARY. Charitable. The giving of alms.
Lights fade quickly to black. The end.